Morning, everybody. It is 8:15 a.m. It's June 22nd. Markets pulling back, especially technology. Bunch of headline news. Bank of England raised rates higher, a quarter point higher than expected. So that's interesting on the Bank of England. And Tesla's pulling back. Got another downgrade by Morgan Stanley. So that's pulling back pretty good. I'll get into some other news in a little bit. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steve Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to structure and look at the market with an unbiased view. Also use supply and demand and gamma exposure levels. Then we come up with scenarios of the futures market that can be used with indexes, futures, stocks, and that's what we try to do here. Have an unbiased look at the market. As always, subscribe to my channel, set an alert. I'm trying to build my channel, so hopefully everyone can help out. As always, give me a big thumbs up, a like. That would always help me. Of course, you could always follow me on Twitter. That's Gonzo719, and also follow me on Instagram. That's Gonzo719 Jersey. All right, we can get right into the watch list. All right, let's see what we have going here this morning. We have the VIX up 4.62%. Ether's up 0.9. Bitcoin's flat. Bitcoin had a huge rise up the last couple days. The dollar's flat. TNX doesn't report to 820. Bonds are slightly down, but yields came down yesterday. Let's see what happens with that today. ES down 0.24. The Dow's down 0.26. The Russell's down 0.3. The Nasdaq is down 0.31. Gold's down 0.5. Okay. Silver's down over 1%. Crude just keeps getting hammered down 1.82%, $1.32 a barrel. Okay, let's move on. All right. So we have leaders here. Now, AMD. Now, AMD's got hammered pretty good. It kind of broke a key support level of like 117, 116.59. Okay, possibly, maybe people are seeing as a buying opportunity. I mentioned the semiconductors hit a key support level the other day, so that was obliterated. Microsoft has a price target raise to 380 today. Probably getting some love because of that. That's about all that I can talk about as far as strength. We're going to go into the laggards, right? So we have Meta. Nvidia's down 0.94. Tesla is down pretty big, 3.34%. Now Tesla has a downgrade by Morgan Stanley. Had a downgrade yesterday as well. Boeing. Now in Boeing, Spirit Aero Systems suspended their factory right now, so that's taking down them 3.34%. Okay, now in other news, Rivian, they're down over 1% because they acquired a mapping company, Intierno. I believe that's called Intierno. I probably saying that wrong, but they acquired a mapping company. That's a purchase. That's an expense. So they're going to be stocks going down a little bit. Mentioned already the Bank of England hiked over expectations. Amazon's price target went up to 180, so that's probably getting a little up for Amazon, but not much. Okay, so that's what's going on as far as that. Let's move on. This is what I like to see. My United Healthcare purchase is doing very well. Have to do with some of that sector rotation. So that's not much of a leader because right now it's the bid and ask spread's kind of wide. So sometimes with the UNH you don't really see up or down that much in pre-market, but you will closer to the bell. Let's go down to the laggards. We got Qualcomm, semis are weak. Chevron, we know energy's weak, and Exxon, right? No surprise there. What do we got here? So let's go to the weakness here. Semis down 0.5. Consumer discretionary, that's Tesla down 0.67, and energy, no surprise, right? Now there's been a little shift in this tech coming down, right? They needed some type of correction. It was just a matter of time when it was going to happen. Pretty much happened after it hit that resistance I talked about in the Qs. Okay, kind of went over it, but then finally people started, taking profits or whatever, which is smart. And that's why I'm saying this pullback is either going to be a buying opportunity or it's going to be the end. The end of this little bear market rally, if that's what you consider it. So we have to see. Okay, we have to see. We could look at some news. Okay, all right, really quickly, Powell reaffirmed further rate hikes. Bank of England to raise interest rates again. Bank of England, latest central bank to hold policy sit meeting. But they were supposed to raise to 4.75. They rose actually 5. Then we see futures lower, tech sector under pressure. Okay, we got jobless claims due at 8:30. Bitcoin hits 2-month high. Of course, these ETFs also under scrutiny from the SEC, but all these ETFs and stuff like that are making the Bitcoin hot, but they're at the 30K range, which is a very, very key level in Bitcoin. So I expect it not to go too much higher for the time being. But it could always do what it could do, right? It could always do what it wants to do. Crude slips lower. So crude is really crappy right now. That's what that's going there right there. So this is what I talked about before. Spirit Aerosystems to halt work at Wichita plant. So that's taking down Boeing. I guess a sympathy play. There's not much other news in here that I think that's that important. We talked about the Bank of England already. We can kind of get to the economic calendar. Let's go to just today. So Fed Wallers spoke already. 8:30, we have jobless claims. We're looking at a consensus of 260 and a previous 262. Curious how that goes. 9:55, we got a Fed Bowman speech. Got more Fed Chair Powell testimony today at 10 a.m. Fed Mester, existing home sales at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. you should see from the home sales, probably not going to move that much. It's not really that much of a market mover, but and then we get Fed Barkin after the close. Tomorrow we have more Fed Bullard, Fed Bostic, and S&P Global Composite PMI, manufacturing and services at 9:45 a.m. followed by Fed Mester. So let's see what Powell has to say today, right? Moving on. Let's go over to the daily charts. All right, so clear pullback, right? We have a gap, pullback, closed underneath the 80 MA. So let's look at this. Now remember, just go back Remember I said this looks more like a completed profile, right? Because you had to run up this volume. And now you can see volume building out here. So this is really the test, right? Can we keep building volume up here, or are we going to return to down here, right? Is this 429 the next dip opportunity, or now, right? Who knows? Don't know. So yesterday, continued to move it down, broke yesterday's lows, kind of closed at the previous day's lows. Okay, and we did close underneath this 80 MA daily, right? But you can see there's kind of like a low here, there's a low here, there's a low here, so there's support here. Okay, you got support here. So this level, let's just put this on the chart because it's obviously notable now, right about there. Actually, I might move that. Let's move that to encompass this low. So right about there, that 435 level. We're below that right now. We're at 340, 434. So we're like right here, kind of gapping lower right now. So we'll have to see if we can rise above that 435, right? Or do we continue down, right? We do have a top here and a bottom here. I mean, I'm not crazy about all these levels here, but 433, that could also be some support. We'll have to see. Inside week, that's last week, right? You see the big excess here, right? And the monthlies, there's the volume profile. We are building a lot of volume here, a lot of value. Okay, here's the oranges, right? Inside last week's high and lows, right? Right here's last month's highs, so we're still well above that. All right, moving on. Let's go to the Qs. So the Qs, same thing, right? Lots of volume here, big excess here. Got some volume here, high volume node here, high volume node here. But we're pulling back, okay? Let's take a look at this run up. Close below this 80 MA daily, right? We have support right here, so I mean, I could actually sweeten that. Let's conclude that low of yesterday. So 360.96 called 361. That's support, right? We're right here right now. The market is right there, right at that support level. Okay. So that's a pivotal part, right? Because you got longs all in here. It's being defended right now. So if we crack that, we could possibly bring us down to 357 in the Qs. Okay. Tech's been hot, right? You can see it's just parabolic. Could this be a rotation? Maybe. Don't know. This could also be the dip, the buy, right? We don't know. In the middle of last week's candle, right? So in the middle, the monthly, there's that resistance, big selling excess. Okay. Here's the volume profile. We are building volume out here. There's a high volume node right here, right? But we're right about here right now. All right. This is last week right here. This orange, this is last week's highs and lows. Still above, there's the low, right? So you have to really see this area here, 3 to 7. Could this be the buy and the dip opportunity, right? Don't know. Moving on. Let's look at the Dow. Now, UNH had a nice run up yesterday. That's the largest holding. That doesn't mean the Dow has to go nuts, but it is the largest holding. So you can see, you know, we had a nice push up higher, right? Then a big gap down. And we're kind of almost back to the most traded price of the rolling year, right? So let's look at this. Big gap down. And then yesterday, kind of like a doji. But this area here, 338, that's where this big move started, right? And then we pulled back, and then you had a huge candle, and now we gapped down, and we're all the way back down. Now where are we now? We're at 338.55. Dude, that's a wide bid ass spread. So we're about right. I would call it like right in here. We're at the lows. We're by the lows of yesterday. So again, we're at this key level, 338. If we break that, you have a bunch of candles on this run up. I mean, just one time framing higher, which means higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? So people might cover. We'll have to see, right? Let's see in relation to last week. We're almost at last week's lows. Okay, got big excess here in the monthlies. Here's the profile. Let's clean it up. We are at the most traded price of the last month right now, 339. Okay, lots of volume here. Not a place to really initiate a trade in the Dow. Okay, moving on to the Russell. Russell has a big profile for the rolling year. Big volume here at 173.22, the most traded price of the rolling year, right? So it's been consolidating, and it kind of broke out of the range yesterday. So let's look at that. Okay, so you have this range, and I talked about that yesterday. So we kind of broke out of it, but we kind of gotten, the previous day broke out of it, broke out of the range. This closed at the lows of the range. This is really a test for the Russell. This is really a test. You need to see, and right now, regional banks are weak. Okay, so you need financials, industrials, healthcare to push up in these small caps, to go on anywhere to go up here, right? Really, today depends on Fed Powell's testimony. Let me see here. Jobless claims came out. Let's just check that out real quick. Let's see. Just curious what they were. They were 264. Consensus was 260. Previous was consensus was 260, so they're more than what we thought. Previous was 264, so it was pretty much even with the last one. So, all right, let's look at IWM, the weeklies. So pulling back to the 200-day moving average. So big range, break out of the range. And now, is this going to create another range where we could possibly go higher? We don't know yet, right? There's the monthlies just in this mess. Now, like I said, if you want to look at something with some strength, it's the Russell, because it's pushed up and it's holding. See this volume? How much volume's here? That's huge. It's a bullish imbalance. Okay. Now, yes, you got shorts in here. Let's look at how strong volume is here. Okay. Let's do that again. Apologize for that. Alright, largest volumes here, right? That's the largest volume, which was buying, and it's been defended, right? Sellers can't seem to get this under it. Now, if we look at the extended hours, right? If you break this, right? This level right here, I'm gonna put the that's 185.70, okay? I'm gonna put an alert there. That would make me interested. Okay. I'm telling you right now, that's gonna make me interested. Okay, because you got selling right here, you got some resistance right here, and you're at the most traded price of the month. Okay. So you have shorts from here, 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 here. You break those, you hold it. It could make a run to the 189, 190. Okay. I'd probably try to maybe do an option play or a stock, like more of like a position trade on that. We'll see. I have the alert set now, so I have that alert set. Let's change this. Let's see style. I just want arrows only. And let's. Oh, Jesus. Sorry about that. I just want to save it. Okay, so that's the Russell. Okay. Big volume, boy. That's what you want to see, right? Can this volume be defended? That's the question. You know, but I don't know. I don't know. I have to wait and see. Okay. Now let's move over to the triple-headed monster. Let's go to the TNX. Let's go to the TNX. Ten-year yields is in this range. All right. I mean, for me, I'm a buyer of TLT, so that's doing well. I'd like to see rates to go down. I mean, yields to go down. People start buying those 30-year bonds, getting nervous. I would hope that for me. But let's see. The bond market's really not showing its hand yet. The VIX is like dead. It is really weird. I mean, it went down yesterday and the market went down. There was a VIX expiration yesterday, but it's almost like it's broken, right? Dollar had a pretty large sell-off yesterday. It's at a little doji right now. It's slightly down, but also gold is down and silver's down. So, and it's weird because crude's down, the dollar's down. That's usually not how that works, but this market is definitely something to witness right now, right? Real quick, I'm just gonna go over sectors because I think that's really important, and all I'm gonna look at is the weeklies. Okay, that's all we're gonna look at, and look at where each sector is really quickly. Okay, so industrials broke out of that range right over the 10-week EMA. Let's go to staples. Now staples has had a large sell-off, right? Tech is going to do the opposite of usually what defensives are going to do, right? But we're kind of holding this. We're still underneath this 10-week EMA in staples. Okay, let me just rotate this. So we looked at industrials, basic materials. Notice that's a defensive stock. Okay, went down. Now it's above the 10-week EMA. Okay, just remember that it was below it for a while. Communications, huge run up, right? That was the weakest sector, one of the weakest sectors last year. Real estate at the 10-week EMA, right? It was below it, and see it's kind of made a little push up. Can it go? And these are defensive stocks, okay? Just keep that in mind. Discretionary, meteoric rise with Tesla, right? Now look, you hit a key resistance level, pulling back. Technology, I forgot to mention this on Monday. Okay, obviously technology, that's no surprise. But look here. There's the all-time highs at 177 and 74. Did you see where we went up to? Last week to all-time highs. No surprise we're getting a pullback, right? Healthcare. All right. Had a run up, had a big many weeks down, right? All the way down to here. Then people started buying it, right? Now, this week, it's above the 10-week EMA. Can it move up, right? Can the sector rotation continue? Semiconductors, right? Semis kind of broke this. 159.41 would be the next stop up here, but it's pulling back, right? We're pulling back. Buying opportunity possibly at 143.8, okay? Financials got beat down with the SVB, all that stuff, and then we've been in a range. And this level broke out here. This 33.19, it actually broke out. It held the 10-week EMA, but we're holding here. Holding here. This could possibly push higher. Not sure, but it's above the 10-week EMA. Utilities had a move yesterday. Look at that move. That's a lot of buying excess, right? And coming up to the 10-week EMA. So can this be the selling of tech into the more defensive stocks? Don't know. Energy's been beaten down to death, okay? Under the 10-week EMA, you could see this huge downtrend. I am looking at possibly nibbling on some energy stocks. It's just been beaten down. So it's got a little push up this week underneath the 10-week EMA. I'd like to see a break 82.79. Okay? Now let's move on. Let's go right into my favorite thing, market profile. Let's get into it. Okay, we have a double distribution profile. Okay. Double distribution profile. We have the most traded price of the week right there, and that is 44.15. Price is below it. Okay, for the short time we're looking at this, that's bearish, right? Most traded price of the week is right here, and we're below it. However, we're right at this key area. See this demand zone here. And what's underneath it? Single prints. So it's being defended right now. So that's what I said. Is this the dip buying opportunity, or is it the end of the tech run? That's the key right in here. Okay, you have monthly VWAP right there too. That is the key. Okay, let's look at where we're at. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low, overnight low, overnight high. Now, this is a tougher thing what I'm looking at here, but what do we have here? Okay, price is right here. So we have a small gap. Okay, small gap, and it's not telling us much. However, what else do we have? Let's make this a little bigger. Alright, let's make that bigger. Okay, so remember, this area here is key down here of what the market's going to do. Now, we have a lot of lower highs here, starting with, well, you're not going to see it, but pretty much lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Clear to see that. So we're definitely in the mini downtrend. Okay, now yesterday's high, yesterday's low, overnight high. Now we are almost 100% net short, right? So this is the only long activity here. This is all the short activity. However, that's going to get canceled out a little bit because we're back at the mid part of the session. So that's not really an edge anymore. Okay. However, what do we have? We have a weak high right here. It's a beautiful weak high. And this is going to be the pivotal point. This is a very lot of confluence right there. Okay. And this is very key for the bulls and the bears. Okay, so you really have this area of a decision of a line in the sand and this area. Okay, what do we have here? We have a weak high. Why is that weak? Okay, because we know we have shorts all the way from here. Okay, and the overnight high. This is the greatest part, right? Overnight high. You have yesterday's close here. You have yesterday's most traded price. You have the most traded price of the week. All right there. Okay. So that's a pivotal point. Okay. So you got shorts that are getting paid. And right here is the most traded price of the week and of yesterday. So, basically, if bulls get the upper hand and break through here and hold it, this is supply though. That's why it's not the easiest trade. This could be the move. Okay. Now we'll do our scenarios. Let's do them. So that's the pivotal point. You already know what that is. So we're underneath this, which I have to respect as bearish, right? So, and we have a lot of supply. So what you want to see, if this is just a bearish scenario, what the market could do, yes, we can come down here, we could pop up, and then, like I just said, test this weak high out. Now we could get a quick pop into this supply, right? And then start to get weak, fall under it, and then now you're going to take it all the longs from the morning, and you're going to test this area down here. Now you could pop out of it, but if you get weak and break this demand, then you got single prints and monthly VWAP. Now remember, this is the bear scenario, so I got to keep going down to this demand zone. And you have the 20 simple moving average right there. Okay. Let's move on to a bullish part, right? Now, the bullish part is twofold. If you're a little aggressive, you want to see the market sell off into this demand, hold it, make some higher lows, and work its way back up, and possibly this is where the market gets tested, right? Here's that weak high. And if you're a bull, you want to see a break of it, a hold of it, and then you're going to have some problems here because it's in these supply zones. But if you start chewing and hanging out here, that could make us propel higher. Okay. So again, just to reiterate, this is the area to look at. 44.15, right? You want to see bears defend that. Bulls, you want to break that to see if you can go higher, right? And then if we hit down here in this demand zone, this is the time for the bulls to show their strength. If we come down here, what do? Can the sellers break it and go down, or can buyers defend it? It's the last leg for right now. There. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to the NASDAQ. All right. Let's go over it. So, a lot of volume here, right? It's incomplete. You want to see some excess, but we don't have it. Okay. Now, we're below, way below the most traded price of the week, which is all the way up here. Okay. Way below it. And we need to start building out value here in order to maybe go lower, right, in the NASDAQ. Okay. Very weak. Big move down yesterday in tech. Now, you notice I have this level here, 149.76. That is a key support level. Very key. Okay. Now let's look at tech. Let's look at NASDAQ. Overnight low, overnight high. I think you're going to notice something there if you're paying attention. There's yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay. So the NASDAQ's 100% net short. We opened here, and everything's been short. We're at the most traded price of the overnight. So this is kind of setting up a little bit for a fade, right? Because you got 100% net long. Everybody's been short the last couple of days. Okay. It would be nice if you're a bull here and you want to take advantage of this fade opportunity. You'd like to see the market push down past this support and then ramp back up, hold this support, and then if you take out the most traded price of the overnight, then people are going to start covering their positions, right? And what do we have here? We have another weak high, because that's the POC. The POC, which is the TPOs, the most time spent yesterday. We also have the most traded price of yesterday, and the close, and the overnight high, right? That most makes it a weak high. So this is the real test, and a 90-MA daily. Okay, you got a lot of confluence there, but if you break it, boom, you got supply. So that might be tough. That might be tough. Okay, but if this is a bullish scenario, you have to talk about, well, all right, spend some time in here, then you can possibly push up, right? So right there, I just really gave you that a bullish scenario. Do I think that happens? I don't know. It's just a scenario, right? And just the opposite for the bear, right? For the bear scenario. We got the weak. This is pivotal right here. This is just like I said in the ES. This is very pivotal. There's a lot of confluence here. Okay. Very pivotal. This support. Okay. That is the key areas. So, bear scenario. You know, obviously we're gapping a little lower. So, we could do one or two things here. If you think this is just really bearish, this is the first thing. You can see that fade happen, like I said. Come up here, hit this supply, start making lower highs, break back under here, and then you test this support. If you break that, what do you have below? A single print in the monthly VWAP. This could take us much lower, all the way down to the 20 simple day moving average. Okay. Also could hang out down here. Don't need to go all the way up there. We could push down. And if we hold underneath that big support level, could also do that, right? And there is a demand zone right about there. That's a possibility today too. Okay, we have Powell speaking at 10. Is he going to say new stuff? I don't know, right? Really have to see this market. I mean, you got Tesla's weak pre-market. BA, Boeing, Nvidia is down now even more. It's down 1.17%. So, also when you see Tesla down like that much, a lot of times people buy it up. But I don't know, got downgraded. So we have to really see, right? We have to really see. I'm going to round it out with a little bit of my quick chart here of the ES. And show you guys what I've been looking at here. We'll just round it out with like where we are in the macroscape here. Okay. Okay, every blue profile is the weeks. Every outline profile is the month. Okay. And every little white dash is the most traded price of that week. Every pink is the most traded price of the month. Okay. The big profile over here is a rolling year, which is the heat map. And the white is this current year. Okay. So, and we got 4-hour candles. Okay, so where, just notice the most traded price of last week and this week is the same. You notice that? And price is below it. Price is below that. That's that high volume node here, right? So we're below that now. We have support right here. So we could touch that support, and you got monthly VWAP right here. Now, if we do eventually break this, we could see ourselves back at this 43350, right? This node. And that would be the real test for the market if we come down here, because that means if we're going to go down or we hold it and you make the move up. That's the ES. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ here. So we have a monster support here, right there. That's this month's lows and 2 weeks in a row's lows. What's that level, right? Let's look at that level. Let's say 14,435. Okay. So you notice here that we had 2 weeks in a row here. We finally broke out. Big week. And now we're having this week is an inside week. We already know this when we looked at the Qs. Okay. So we're right almost at that monthly VWAP right here. So if we're weak, I would expect us to go here, 14766, this big volume here. I could see us testing this here, and then that's the move here. Can we go higher, or are we going to dip below, and we're going to test this big support level? Notice this here, not a lot of volume here, right? So it's either boom all the way to here, or it's going to be the dip opportunity. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. Well, now we're back to the ES, and what happened? We're back towards the lows. Okay, so that the fade is more of a nice opportunity here to fade it, which means go long if we go past this much trader price. So very interesting. You got the big levels. I mean, there is not, you can't get any more bigger confluence than I talked about today. Okay. So as always, subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. If you understand what we saw, that's better. If you didn't, ask me a question. You can make a comment, right? As always, give me a like. That would help me out. Be much appreciated. And of course, you got my social media right there. Let's stay patient. You got Powell at 10. So stay patient. We got those levels. We got clear lines in the sand for us to go higher and to go lower. So hopefully everybody understands that, and wish everybody luck today. Stay green, and if I don't talk to you again, I'll see you guys in